Jordan is in Washington, D.C. right now at our offices. So, Jordan, what is your sense of what's happening? I know you just arrived a little bit ago. What's your sense?
Well, there's a couple of things as we celebrate the 30th March for Life. For 3 years, there was no physical march because of COVID. So they were virtual marches. So this is the first time back in Washington, D.C., and it's significantly changed where the battle is. The battle was right here behind me at the U.S. Supreme Court on Capitol Hill because the Roe versus Wade blocked most states from taking any actions to put restrictions in on abortions. And any time they did, they had to fight it all the way to the Supreme Court. Now that Roe versus Wade has been overturned, what we are all working with, and we've got a lot of pro-life leaders from the top organizations in the country coming to our office after the march today to talk about those issues. We also have Congressman Jim Jordan, the new chair of the House Judiciary Committee. He's going to be joining us at the ACLJ office. We've got our crew here, so people will be able to see that pretty soon as well. But I'll tell you what we've done at the ACLJ differently is we're going to be hosting an event. We've got coffee outside for people who are marching, signs outside for people. We have ACLJ water bottles we're passing out. I don't know if you can see in my hand, so people can get to our website there. Save the Storks is with us with the signage, and to see the kind of new messaging like "Let Life Happen." So I think it's in a transition, as we know, because we've talked about a lot of this broadcast that the battle is now in the States.
Yeah, it is in the States. It's interesting. We had, like I said, Randall was on and gave some interesting observations. Jordan, he said something very interesting. He said, there was a moment in time during the slavery issue where you could own a slave on Monday, but the next Monday you couldn't. In one sense, Dobbs was the predicate to that, the overturning of Roe, but it still gave the states a lot of discretion, and that's where we've got, and also in Washington, we have a lot of work to do.
Certainly, especially at the legislative level, at the state constitution level, and I think what we have to do is make sure we're not rushing these issues to court, because what we just saw in South Carolina, where we know if there was a vote on life and the right education was done, it would likely win. But it was a case that went to the Supreme Court there, the state Supreme Court there, and they still found in their state constitution a right to privacy. And Dad, you and I talked about the idea that most of those judges on that state Supreme Court were indoctrinated their entire legal career, right or left, that there is a right to privacy in their constitutions. And many are expressing still disagreement with what the U.S. Supreme Court did and asserting their state right role, which is what the Supreme Court opened it up to. So it's a 50-state battle now rather than a battle in Washington, D.C.